The first video on this channel is my top 10 best shrines in Breath of the Wild, and it was a really fun video. So I decided that I would share my top 10 worst shrines in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now I'll try not to include any shrines that are blessing shrines, only unless the blessing shrine came from an actual shrine quest itself, meaning that any open shrines that are blessing shrines but they're not part of the shrine quest would not be in this list, because they would obviously be in the bottom. Unfortunately, I don't have a capture card, so I'll only show you screenshots. Now, before I get started, I just want to let you know I am reaching a goal of 100 subscribers by the end of this year. If you watch my videos, then I would appreciate you subscribing to my channel. With that said, let's get started with the best of the worst shrine. In number 10, we have the Five Flames Shrine. Now, this shrine isn't in the bottom because it's tedious, but rather because the puzzle is boring. You have to light all the candles by hitting the switch to open the gate. However, there's a fountain that gets rid of the flames from the candle. You can just stasis that fountain and light all the candles on fire. But what makes this shrine really boring is that you can just cheat by using fire arrows and moving the block away from the fountain. This makes the shrine really boring. On paper, the concept is really good, and it is pretty good as well. But I wish they did 2 or 3 segments instead of just 1 segment. However, this shrine is far from the worst. In number 9, we have the weakest DLC shrine in the game. This is the Collected Soul Shrine. This is most likely the first DLC shrine people will complete. It's not that this shrine is awful, but this shrine is again really boring. It is fun to kill enemies in one hit while trying to avoid getting hit, because you also die in one hit. But the shrine itself is nothing special. You have to avoid the spike boulders at the start, but then it's just collecting the Sheikah orbs, which is nothing special. There is some challenge when bringing the small orb back to the top, but it is still the weakest out of all the DLC shrines. However, this shrine is not bad, it's just lame, which is why it ranks 9th place. In number 8, we have the Fateful Stars Shrine. Now, this shrine is likely the most biased entry on this list. On paper, this is a really creative concept. However, during my first couple playthroughs of this game, I did not know how to solve this shrine and believed this was the worst shrine. This is the only shrine I searched for on YouTube because of how difficult it was to understand the puzzle, and I don't think I'm the only one who searched for it. Now, I think this is a fun puzzle because I know how to solve it now. You have to count the patterns, you have to count how many patterns in the column are on the board, and then you place the Sheikah orb on the pedestal that indicate like which number there are for each row. And there is also another one for the treasure chest, and that is also pretty fun. And overall, this shrine is a pretty fun shrine, but this is pretty biased, and my experience with this shrine puts this in 8th place. In number 7, we have the Delayed Puzzle Shrine. This shrine is not tedious at all, and this is because this shrine might be the most non-blessing shrine in the game. You just stasis the electric orb and magnesis that orb to the switch. The treasure chest is also nothing special, but it is a bit better than completing the shrine because you have to place the orb inside the cage and touch the switch. Overall, this shrine is boring and it's just nothing. You know, there's nothing special about this shrine, which is why it ranks 7th place. In number 6, we have the Katosa Ag Apparatus Shrine. This shrine is the first shrine in our list that uses one of the worst features in this game, in my opinion. Motion controls. Because of motion controls, it is easy to mess up our aim. For this shrine, we play mini golf. We have to hit the ball in a straight line. And for me, it is really hard to pull it off because I can't swing the ball in a straight line without messing up my controls. And overall, I'm not that good with motion controls. Some of you guys might like this more, but I don't like motion controls in this level. But this part is not that bad. The treasure chest part is a bit better because there is some angle required. However, motion controls really mess this shrine up. And it is unfortunate because some shrines have good motion control puzzles. However, there is a shrine that does motion controls way worse, which is why this shrine ranks 6th place. In 5th place, we have the Lost Pilgrimage. Now, this is easily the most tedious shrine quest in this game because of how annoying this little Korok is. We have to secretly follow the Korok without getting lost or spotted. If either of those happens, you go back to the very beginning. This Korok loves to go back and forth, and this makes it really easy to get spotted. I love challenging puzzles, but this Korok pushes it too far. It is a bit fun to follow the Korok and not get caught. However, it is really annoying at the same time. But that little difficulty kind of brings up the fun, and that's why it ranks 5th place, despite being the most annoying shrine quest in the game. In 4th place, we have the Skull's Eye. This is the first shrine of the 2 shrine quests in this list that is a blessing shrine, even though it should have been an actual shrine. However, the reason this shrine is below the next shrine quest is that this shrine does involve a little bit of effort, such as climbing the skull. If you have Revali's Scale, then it will be less challenging. But with that said, there is no excuse that this is a blessing shrine. This shrine could have some potential for being a level with some climbing parts to it. Just gotta climb up, climb some cages like that to reach the top, but this is a missed opportunity. However, the next shrine, being a blessing shrine, is even more ridiculous. In 3rd place, we have Secrets of the Cedars. This is the 2nd shrine of the 2 shrine quests in this list that is a blessing shrine, even though it should have been an actual shrine. While this shrine is a shrine quest, it is no different from other open shrines. This shrine may be hidden inside a cave, but the best shrine in my top 10 shrines video is also hidden, yet that was an actual shrine, and that is a phenomenal shrine. This shrine should have done something similar to the best shrine. At least the Skull Eye requires some effort, but this shrine is just as open as the other cave shrines. There's a lot of potential for this shrine being an actual good shrine, like the best shrine in the game, but that is a huge missed opportunity. This is easily the worst shrine quest in the game. In 2nd place, we have the Tempered Power Shrine. My previous shrines in this list are either decent with tedious parts or just boring. However, none of them are outright bad, unlike this and the following shrine. This shrine requires us to stasis an orb and hit a couple times with an iron sledgehammer or any weapon and launch it to the hole. The problem is that it is incredibly difficult to perfectly nail it. Every time I hit with a sledgehammer, I always had to use a one-handed weapon to get to the hole. And even then, it is still really hard to get the perfect angle, because I would most likely mess that up. After that, you reach a part where we have to hit a block to flip the platform. And that is the best part about this shrine. After that, you reach the end. However, there's an optional treasure chest, and that is by far the worst treasure chest in all of the shrines. The procedure is similar, except there are parts that block the path. You have to hit the ball at a perfect angle with the perfect damage to make it in the hole. This shrine is really tedious, and the treasure chest makes it worse. Had the treasure chest not been optional and instead been mandatory, this shrine would still have not taken the number 1 spot, because the number 1 shrine is truly awful, and I believe there is no possibility any of these shrines can top off the number 1 worst shrine. But the worst shrine in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is, without question, the Miyahim Agana Apparatus Shrine. This shrine is the worst shrine in Breath of the Wild for several reasons. For starters, this shrine requires motion controls. And as mentioned before, I am not a fan of them because they are just hard to control. And this shrine is a perfect example. The platform the orb falls into is a maze, and you have to control the direction the ball goes using motion controls. On paper, this is a really creative idea, but the execution is complete flop. It is really hard to control the direction with motion controls. Not only that, but if the ball falls, then it would respawn. However, if the platform is not at its starting position, then the ball would land anywhere, including the railings, meaning that it will fall off again. Not only that, but you can also cheat by flipping the maze upside down, bypassing the challenge. The treasure chest in this shrine is not that fun either, because you can just paraglide to where the chest is located instead of actually partaking in the maze. But if you do the shrine the intended way, it will be the most tedious and annoying shrine in this game. And honestly, the fact that you can just cheat this shrine too brings it down, because that is not a fun way to cheat. It's just, you just solve the puzzle like that. No good. And that is why this shrine takes the crown for the worst shrine in Breath of the Wild. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked this video, then hit that like button and please subscribe to my channel. I am trying to reach 100 subscribers by the end of this year, and I will make good videos as well. But with all that said, take care everyone, and I'll see you next time with more good videos.